Okie dokie. Welcome to BIT 2406. This is chapter 1. Let's get into it. So, student at Tech, hot dog stand. There are 7 home games. She must pay vendor's fee of $3,000. Her stand and equipment and whatever will cost $4,500 for the season. Each hot dog will cost her 35 cents. Blah, blah, blah. She will sell approximately 2,000 hot dogs during each game. What price should she charge for a hot dog to break even? So, the way I think about this is in terms of revenue, cost, and then I'll think about profit and where profit is equal to 0 in order to break even. So revenue is price times quantity. And so we do not know the price because they ask what price should she charge. Sorry, that's hard to say fast. Should she charge? So we don't know the price, so we're going to leave it as price. The quantity we can assume is 2,000. Now be very careful. It's 2,000 hot dogs per game. But they tell us there are 7 games, 7 home games. So we need to make sure we're multiplying this by 7 for our overall quantity of 14,000 hot dogs. Because all the other costs and things that we are going to incorporate in this problem are for the entire season. So that's our revenue, just 14,000 P. Now for the costs, what are all the costs? There's a vendor's fee of $3,000. And there's a equipment cost or whatever of $4,500 for the season. Each hot dog will cost 35 cents. So we need to deduct cost of 35 cents times every single one of those hot dogs that we are supposedly going to sell, right? So this should give us a number. Let's give it a shot. 3,000 plus 4,500 plus 0.35 times 14,000.
It's 12,400.
All right, 12,400. So that is our cost. And so now it's just a game of when do we break even. So we set the revenue equal to the cost. Or if you wanted to, you could do the profit, but actually this is easier. So set the revenue equal to the cost and solve for P. So we have 14,000 P, or P times 14,000 equals 12,400. So we solve for P by dividing by 14,000. So we get that P is equal to 12,000 divided by, oh shit, hold up.
I don't have an answer for that.
Me neither. All right, let's try it again. 12,400 divided by 14,000.
It's approximately 0.8857.
8857. So that's about 89 cents. So 8857. Again, this is a price. So we're talking 89 cents. Okay, that's the price they should sell them for breaking even. Okay. Part B, they say what factors might occur during the season that might alter the volume, thus the break-even price Annie might charge. So what might occur? Maybe she doesn't actually sell 2,000 hot dogs each game. Like maybe there's a lesser attendance each game, and so that affects her hot dog sales. Maybe a game gets rained out or stormed out or whatever, and they don't end up having 7 home games and all that. So those are some factors. C, what price? Part C, what price would you suggest that Annie charge for a hot dog to provide her with a reasonable profit while remaining competitive with other food vendors? So I want to say when looking at the answer key for this, it was like when they said reasonable profit, they just like made up a number. So reasonable profit, I think they did like $5,000, $2,000, something like that. I want to say it was like 5,000. And so it's just a matter of like what you think is a reasonable profit. So then you choose that to be your profit. And then we think about profit being revenue minus cost. And so we kind of just plug in the revenue still as 14,000 P minus the 12,400. And then just like solve for P like that, I guess. So we add the 12,400. So we get 17,400 equals 14,000 P, and then we divide by 14,000 to get P by itself. 17,400 divided by 14,000.
It's approximately 1.2428.
So about $1.24. I want to say the answer key said something like that because it said $1.25. So, whatever you want to go with. It's really subjective at that point. So maybe $1.24, $1.25, depending on what you think is a reasonable profit. 5,000 is kind of reasonable for an entire semester with the games and hot dogs. I don't know. Do whatever you want. But that's pretty much it. I hope that makes sense. That was 22. I am going to try to stick with the same video and go ahead and knock out 23. I think that's the only two I have from chapter 1 that I want to go over. So let's jump right into it. Number 23. Someone are teaching kids how to swim. Opens at noon, blah, blah, blah. They rent it during the morning. Cost of renting the pool during the 10-week period is $1,700. The pool would also charge them an admission, towel service, lifeguard service, blah, 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 of $7 per pupil. They estimate an additional $5 per student or per pupil. I don't know why they don't stay consistent, but pupil, student, same thing. For hiring several assistants. They plan to charge $75 per student for the 10-week class. They ask how many pupils do they need to enroll to break even. Okay, so what's their revenue? Price times quantity. They say the price is $75 for the entire 10-week swimming class, right? And they're asking how many pupils. So in terms of price times quantity, we don't know the quantity. I think in this class they call quantity volume. So in other words, we do not know the volume. We don't know how many people they're going to enroll in their class. That's what we're solving for. So we're just going to leave it as V. Now for the cost. What cost do we have? What cost do they have? It's $1,700 to rent for the 10-week period. There's $7 per pupil. So that's $7 times the volume for the cost, but there's an additional $5 per pupil, or per student or whatever. So that's just $5 times the volume as well. So we can go ahead and add those. 7 plus 5 is 12 V. And then I guess that's just it. So now we just set the revenue equal to the cost and solve for V. So talking 75 V equals 1,700 plus 12 V. We subtract 12 V and we get 63 V equals 1,700, and we divide by 63 to get the volume for which we should break even, the quantity, the number of students or pupils they should enroll. 1,700 divided by 63.
The answer is approximately 26.9841.
All right, so 26.98, or if you're being real, 27 students, because you can't enroll 26.98 students, okay? So students, this many students in order to break even. What's the next question? They say if they want to make a profit of $5,000, how many pupils do they need to enroll? So kind of the same game as the last one, right? So we set the profit equal to 5,000, and we keep in mind that profit is revenue minus cost. And so revenue, 75V, minus the cost of 1,700 plus 12V, and we just solve for V. So same game, same deal. 75 minus 12V is 63V. Don't forget to distribute the minus to the 1,700. We have 5,000 over here. We add 1,700, and we get 6,700 equals 63V divided by 63. 6,700 divided by 63.
The answer is approximately 106.3492.
106.3 blah blah blah. So 106.3, they might leave it like that or even round up to 107 students. So they need to enroll 107 students if they want a profit of 5,000. Part C. They estimate that they might not be able to enroll more than 60. So you can kiss $5,000 goodbye, because that would require 107 students, but they can only enroll 60. But They say if they enroll this many pupils, so if they enroll 60, how much would they actually need to charge per pupil to realize their profit goal of 5,000? So what's the game here? What's the approach? We still keep the profit at 5,000, but what do we change? We change the volume to 60, meaning our revenue is not just 75V, it's now 75 times 60, okay? And then the cost, if we're subtracting the cost, looking right here, let me make sure I have this right. Oh, you know what? I'm tripping. I'm so sorry. I got ahead of myself. The cost is actually going to stay the same with the 60 plugged in. I'm blowing it here. The price is what's changing. They're asking you what should they charge per pupil to actually realize this goal. So this price, we are getting rid of the 75 and just putting a P in its place. Okay, so 60P is our revenue. Now, sorry about that. We have the 1700 plus 12V, which in place of V we have 60. So we need to, recalculate a cost here. So let's go ahead and do that. We have 5,000 equals 60P minus, I'm just going to calculate this all at once, 1700 plus 12 times 60.
It's 2,420.
Okay, very good. So now we solve for P. So we add 2420, so we get 7420 on the left side equals 60P. Divide by 60. 7420 divided by 60.
It's approximately 123.6666.
Very good. So 123.6 repeating. And so we're thinking price here, right? This is how much they're charging per student for the 10-week program. So they're looking at $123.67 for a 10-week class, which I think is pretty reasonable, maybe. But it's a far bump up from the $75 that it was. I hope I did all that right. It's a lot of simple math, but also, I could have made some mistakes there. But hopefully the process makes sense. I'm pretty confident in the process, even if I had made some simple mistakes along the way. That is a little glimpse, chapter 1 there. If you have any questions, let me know. All right.